Your brain is like a circuit switch. Once you believe you are something, you actually embody it. You embody that feeling. If you were, God forbid, in a coma, and you woke up and you didn't really have a memory, and you were told that you used to be a Navy SEAL, and they want you back now when you're healthy, do you think you'd act differently and hold yourself differently, conduct yourself different, have a different self-concept of who you are than if you were told you were a piano instructor? Being successful in life is all about having the proper belief system in who you are.
You got two modes in the way in which your brain operates: the default mode and the direct mode. The default I call autopilot. That's like the day. That's like when your thoughts drift. It's when you're on autopilot. It's when you go through your day without even thinking. The direct mode is the mode where you're present, where you're in the moment, where you're controlling what you think about. You have a choice. You're either going to repeat what you're doing or you're going to evolve it.
Let's think about these things. What would you do if you had 1 year to live and guaranteed success in anything you decided to do? What would that be? What would you do with your life if you had it to live over?
You know you want to make changes, you got a lot you want to do in your life, but then you start thinking about those changes and you immediately start catastrophizing. You start worrying, start thinking about all the reasons why it's not going to happen. This is so common, and the reason why it's common is because somebody in your past either trained you to think this way, or you've had so many bad things happen that you've trained yourself to assume and predict that bad things are always going to happen to you. There will be bad things that happen. There will. It's a fact of life. But if you are constantly allowing your mind to default to thinking that bad things will happen, or thinking that you're out of shape, or thinking that you're a loser, or thinking that you're not worthy, or thinking that things aren't going to turn out, it becomes your default mode of thinking.
What fear, what beliefs that you're holding on to tenaciously that's no longer allowing your life to work? It's not enabling you to produce the results that you want to produce in your life, and you're still clinging to them. See, as we go into a new world, there's some old behaviors that just won't fit. What are the effects? What are the circumstances? What are the people that have shaped you? Just thinking, just thinking. Many people have all this talent and ability that they are allowing to be buried inside of them, that they will take with them to their graves because they didn't have the courage to be who they are. And I say, as you begin to look toward the future and manifesting your greatness, it's going to take everything in you, that your life deserves the concentrated effort to begin to look at how is it that I can express more of me? How is it that I can bring my ideas out here now? How is it? And start living with a sense of urgency, because you're here today. You're gone today. Life is unpredictable. It's uncertain. There are no guarantees. No guarantees out here at all. So holding back, what are you waiting on? Ask yourself, what's the benefit of your waiting? What's the benefit of your not living your dream? What's the benefit of not listening to yourself? Oh, please, listen to yourself.
I believe the way that you think is a choice. I believe that you are either going to repeat the thinking patterns that you've always had this year, or you can evolve them. Because when you change how you think, you will change your life.
When you can surrender to the dream, you get to live in the space of the higher power. You get to live in the space that you purposefully have come to earth to claim for yourself.
The second step to success, and so critical, is you've got to set specific goals and objectives for your vision or your dream. It's a nice thing to say, I want a winter home in Hawaii. But that won't do it. It's got to be measurable. It's got to be in time and space. How much do you want by when? Now let me give you a good example of this. why it's so important to make a list of goals. I tell people in my seminars, you want a goal or an objective, a measurable thing for every part of your vision, and I think you want to have 101 goals. You really go for it. Now, John Goddard, who we wrote about in our first Chicken Soul book, when he was 15, he set a list of 127 goals that he wanted to achieve. Now, he's sitting in his dining room with his dad, and all these people are coming over to dinner. These are the big, successful people in town. And he's listening to them talk to his dad, who's a successful businessman, saying things like, you know, I wish before I'd started my business, I'd traveled around the world, because now it's too late. Or I wish I had spent more time with my children. Or I wish I'd read the encyclopedia. Or I wish I'd learned music. I wish I'd learned to play an instrument. And he said, I don't want to live my life and get to 50, 60 and go, I wish I had. Or to live on what one of my friends calls someday I'll. Right? Someday I'll do this, someday I'll do that, and you never get there. And so he made a list of 127 goals. Now, these were not minor goals. These were things like visit the Great Pyramid in Egypt, visit the Great Wall of China, visit the Vatican, meet the Pope, learn 3 languages, read the encyclopedia, shoot out a candle with a .22 rifle from 100 feet, fly an airplane, learn to, control a boat, learn to type 150 words a minute, all these different things. And he's achieved 115 of those 127 goals. The last one he just accomplished was learning to play polo. Now, the guy's in his 70s, and polo, I understand, is a pretty strenuous sport. In his polo class was Sylvester Stallone, the actor. What a neat life. I mean, this guy's the real Indiana Jones, right? He's doing all this stuff out there. His next goal that he's training for is to start at the mouth of the Yangtze River, or the beginning of it, and sail all the way down, all the way through China. And he's getting ready to go do that. So he wakes up every morning and he knows exactly what he's working toward. He's got a blueprint for his life. What about you? Do you have a blueprint for your life? And if not, why not?
Most of us, I'm a spiritual psychologist and a spiritual technician. That's what I do. And what I learned is we are very loyal to our family patterns because they're familiar, they're comfortable. Better the devil we know than the one we don't know. So even though we don't want to be poor, we'll have a consciousness that'll keep us poor, or keep us sad, or keep us in drama, or keep us in chaos, because it's familiar. So that's when I started studying what I call DNTPs, dominant negative thought patterns, and how they manifest and how they govern our behavior. Because everything begins with a thought. And the thought creates an attitude, and the attitude creates the word, and the word creates a feeling, or vice versa. The feeling leads to a thought. So I've been studying dominant negative thought patterns. So if you want to eliminate family pathology, you got to forgive. You got to tell the truth about what's going on. Don't call a duck a chicken. Call a thing a thing. This is what my mother did. This is what my father did. This is what they said. This is what it was for me. Yeah? And you've got to identify your dominant negative thought pattern.
Perfectionism will kill your dreams. It is the one thing that separates the winners from the wannabes in almost every area of life. And look, none of us are immune to this. I mean, we can all slip into this mindset if we're not careful. I have certainly been guilty of this a lot in the past, and it's something I work to stay out of every single day. One of the ways that I do this is by living by this mantra. Go for progress, not perfection. You got to repeat that all the time. Now, the goal is to always keep yourself in a growth-oriented mindset where you're focused on learning and experimentation and getting better and just putting shiz out there. Now, to be clear, I am not telling you to put crap out into the world or to lower your standards. You should always work really hard, and you've always got to put in your very best effort. But as for endless tweaking, like tweaking, all that is really a manifestation of procrastination and fear. And I think Mr. Reid Hoffman got it right when he said, if you are not embarrassed by the first version of your product, you have launched too late. And I gotta tell you, Laura, I will be the first person to say that the very first public version of almost everything I do, or everything I've done, when I look back on it, it's actually pretty embarrassing. I mean, some of it is kind of mortifying, but you know what? I just don't stop. I am relentless when it comes to learning and growing and evolving and improving. And I think you should be too. And also know this, no matter how perfect you think you've gotten whatever you're creating, you're probably going to change it after you put it out there. And there's no shame in growing and improving your work. No one's going to bust you. No one's going to say like, ooh, I see you. You switched your headline font. I'm telling.